Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw for Insider Travel Report, and I'm here today with Taylor Allsmith Recking, who's now the new president of the Travel Institute. And if the name sounds a little familiar, Taylor's father was the late Scott Allsmith, a very good friend of mine, and he was a wonderful guy and a wonderful supporter of the Travel Institute. And Taylor himself has been around, I think, for he said 11 years, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're gonna talk to Taylor about his new post, what he hopes to do with the Travel Institute, which I think still think is one of the most crucial organizations in the travel agency business today. And you'll find out about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Taylor, first of all, great to see you. Wonderful to
Great.
meet you. We've never met, which is hard to believe considering you've been there for 11 years, but you're out in I think in Arizona,
That's
and so
correct.
I don't get out there that much, although my sister does live out there. I guess I owe her a visit. Um, First of all, can you give us an update on the sort of status and the health of the Travel Institute today?
Yeah. Well, James, thank you so much for your time and for inviting me on here. It is a pleasure to meet you as well. The Travel Institute is such an exciting time for us, personally for me and professionally. Obviously, very exciting. But for the Travel Institute and the travel industry in general, looking at all the opportunities and the changes in how education is so important to the industry and to the success of advisors. There's so many opportunities for us to be able to fill the knowledge gaps and to help the travel advisors succeed in the industry in general. So just a great time for the Travel Institute. And again, just personally, just so excited to be here and have this opportunity.
Well, you have the heritage, let me tell you, because your father was an ardent supporter of both the original ICTA, Institute for
That's
Certified
right.
Travel Agents, and now the Travel Institute. And he was crucial to its survival at one point. So I'm sure you remember that.
Yes.
Now, what is the mission that the Travel Institute board gave you?
Well, we're a nonprofit, right? So there's obviously a fiduciary responsibility for being a nonprofit to maintaining the integrity of education and being a nonprofit. As far as the mission goes, though, it's about bringing out the visibility of the Travel Institute, making sure that I'm going to be out there. You're going to see me at these events, and I'm really excited to meet everyone, to be a part of that, to collaborate, to listen, to look at the challenges and help that drive education and fill those knowledge gaps, as I said. And just honestly, being able to increase our visibility and partnerships. I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity that we have at the Travel Institute to collaborate to make sure that the Travel Institute is part of travel advisors' education, no matter where they are in the industry, not just at the Travel Institute, but making sure that the Travel Institute is present wherever they are to help fit everyone's needs.
Well, that's great to know because most of your predecessors, and in fact, all of them, were really good at getting out into the marketplace and really being at a lot of the conferences. I was often
Yeah,
shocked at how often I saw either it was Bob Lapisto who was out there
yeah,
as president, or your dad, even though I guess he never, I guess he was president for a little while. But then you had Diane Petras was also out there, and that's really critical to being there. And that actually kind of sort of leads me to my next question. What are the kind of new programs and services do you intend to launch in 2026?
Well, I think the first step is to listening to advisors, listening to partnerships, and making sure that we are filling those knowledge gaps, making sure that we are updating content, staying relevant, staying current, and giving everyone the tools that they need to succeed. We haven't announced anything yet, but I'm
Okay.
really excited for a project that is coming soon, where we are going to be able to share our content and create those collaborative partnerships with the industry, and allowing our content to, again, just be where the advisors are and make sure that we are not locking it and keeping it to ourselves, that the education that is the gold standard in the industry, that his our sole focus is creating the best content to help them succeed is out there. And so we'll discuss at a future time. I can't wait to announce this, but our intention is to be able to open up doors and create these partnerships in the industry so that everyone has the best education and resources through the Travel Institute possible so that they are out there and they are succeeding through our education.
Well, when you're ready, please, we'll talk again and give you some play on the big announcement on what you're going to do. I'm looking forward to that myself. Now, obviously, crucial is how do you intend to get more advisors to really sign on to become CTAs, CTCs, CTICs? How are you how are you going to do that?
Yeah, well, I think step number one is something that we started last October, and it's our alumni. It's focusing on our alumni and the spotlight and the champions of education and those that hold the torch and have success stories. We had an alumni week, which was incredibly
Yeah, we reported on
well
that. Yeah.
attended. What's that?
We reported on that one. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
great.
it was just so successful, but it's so much fun to listen to the success stories of those that have earned their certification. And so weekly, we are spotlighting everyone and we've got thousands of graduates, yourself included,
Mhm.
that have success stories in the industry. And part of that is through the Travel Institute
Right.
and making sure that everyone sees the value and sees what certification means to the industry, to their success, and highlighting that. And then before that, of course, is also just the pathway to success. How do you even get to being certified? How do you enter into the travel industry so that you have that core knowledge, that foundation to build upon, so that you then can be successful, earn your certification, and continue on become an alumni with the Travel Institute?
No, that's great. And it is crucial that we continue to build up the number of CTCs, CTAs, everyone that who can get that education. I know the different consortia have been actively working with you to certainly support the programs and a lot of their own certifications, the base coursework still comes back and goes back to the Travel Institute.
Right, right. I appreciate that. Yes.
Now, let me ask you a sort of a little more controversial question. As you know, ASTA a few years back launched its Verified Travel Advisor program, which is,
Right.
it's a good program.
Yeah.
But I know there were some points they were trying to figure out a way to merge the two organizations, and it never happened. But I've always gotten the sense that ASTA sort of is going its own route. And I wish they weren't. I wish that the two of you could get together a little more on stuff. How do you see a way to kind of end this? I don't know if you view it as a divide or not between ASTA and the Travel Institute, so we can like really work on things together.
Yeah, well, as I was always in the technology and marketing side for 11 years at the Travel Institute, this is a new opportunity for the Travel Institute and me being in this new position. What I'm encouraged by and what I really want to focus on is that the industry is better through collaboration.
Yeah.
And however, whether it's ASTA or others, I mean, there's so many out there that we can all benefit. The travel industry is better when companies, the Travel Institute, when we collaborate together and we solve problems. So that again, because at the end of the day, the Travel Institute's mission is the success of advisors.
Yeah.
And whatever we can do to bridge those gaps and create a successful environment and education from our side for the travel advisors, that's a win. And that's something that I would love the opportunity with everyone to be able to make sure that we are collaborating and opening up those doors and making sure that we're doing what's in the best interest of the travel industry.
Well, I do hope you get to sit down with Zane Kirby of ASTA one of these days to talk about this issue
I would
because
love the opportunity. Absolutely. This is not a closed door policy. Again, I have a fiduciary responsibility at the Travel Institute, but our mission is to make the best advisors and make them successful. And however we can collaborate and elevate the industry, I am absolutely open to all those possibilities.
Well, I do hope we can work something out there and as well as get everybody involved because I do know the most of the industry, all of the industry supports the Travel Institute and they want to support ASTA as well. And to have sort of semi-competing coursework and things like that. It's not quite competing. In fact, it could be complementary.
That's exactly right. I mean, we are complementary. We're both in the travel industry. It's really exciting to be able to have two companies that, if they can find a way that we can work together and collaborate and share educational content, that we can promote the industry and the success and the excitement of being a travel advisor, that would be wonderful.
Well, as most people realize, right now is one of the best times ever for people to become travel advisors. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
I hear it again and again. I talk to people who say, "Oh, I didn't even know travel advisors exist." And I said, "Yeah, and they're making six figures."
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
it's the best, the best of the best are making six figures, and nobody believes me. And I'm like, all right, you don't have let everybody else get get into the business, and you'll find out what you missed.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I think everyone wins when the travel industry wins.
Well, I know there's a great awareness, and when I go to all the conferences, I just got from a small press conference for with Travel Leaders Network, and they're gung ho on everyone, everything travel advisors, and they firmly believe this is the wave of the future, it's the wave of the present. So hopefully we can get everybody on board on that. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about how did you get involved in the Travel Institute to begin with, aside from your family?
Yeah.
And remind us of what your background is.
Yeah, my background, to keep it short, actually started in out of college in television, working at ABC. I worked my way up through, and I was in charge of marketing. But then I was acquired to work for an education company.
Mm,
So I worked for a medical education company teaching doctors. For one of them, it was on how to perform root canals. So I created all their educational
that sounds
content.
painful right away, but
It was incredibly fascinating, though. I mean, when you're creating content for doctors to perform root canals, and be the person that is literally teaching them step by step how to do these procedures and run through that. After that, I worked for another medical company, and that was for more intense facial reconstructive surgery. Did all of their educational content, but also in between that, I was developing how to change it because originally it was all on DVD.
right,
Everything was on DVD. And so I was creating online platforms before Netflix existed. It was how do we distribute educational content online?
right.
And through that, I was reached out to by the CFO of the Travel Institute to look at modernizing the Travel Institute.
Mhm.
And so that was just over 11 years ago. And I am still here.
Great. Well,
I
well,
haven't left.
that's incredible. And of course, your dad was very much involved in all of this during the time. So obviously, you had him to consult with
Yeah.
and
Yeah. The
understand.
uh, the apple did not fall far from the tree after all.
Well, you said you did these education on root canals. So some travel advisors might say that sometimes the clients they deal with is like dealing with a root canal. So we'll see, but that they have to know exactly what to do to make that sale and to make that experience for the client be the best as possible. Now,
Yeah.
we're talking about your father, Scott Allsmith, and what
Sure.
is the legacy your father kind of passed on to you about travel advisor education and how important was he in kind of getting you on this career path?
Well, it started in high school. I worked at his travel agency in Glen Ellen,
Right.
Illinois. Uh, in high school, I would spend my Friday nights working on ARC reports at the travel agency.
Fascinating stuff, huh?
So yeah, so I had a lot of good times on in high school on Friday nights. But that's really where it started. My dad never pushed me to be in the travel industry. He was always pushing me to find my own path. But as I said, the apple ended up not falling far from the tree. Had an opportunity to work with the Travel Institute, and modernize education and our technology platforms, look at workflows, and it's just been an amazing opportunity with an amazing staff. Again, that is just fully committed to one purpose, which is creating excellent education for the industry.
No, it's fantastic that you kept following that path. And as we were
Yeah.
talking earlier before the interview about how your dad was so interested in so many things and always interested in technology, and one of his last projects was to focus on artificial intelligence.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's becoming everything. And actually, I was in talks with him to kind of write a column for me about AI. But he always was so enthusiastic about the travel agency business and travel advisors in particular. So
Yeah.
clearly, I can tell that you are as well.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
think,
and it's important to always learn, right? To keep pushing yourself, to keep looking. As I mentioned, the travel industry is always changing. It's constantly changing. Having that mindset of always looking for new ideas, looking for new technology, looking for new ways to be efficient and effective, whether it's communicating with your clients or educating yourself through our content. There's so many ways, but the key is that you don't just sit there and just say, I know everything.
yeah.
Is to keep asking questions and looking for new answers. And he certainly was always looking for new ways to do things, often through technology.
Yeah, well, that was his strong suit. But
Yeah.
as I told you, I was telling you earlier that he was the one who taught me travel agency economics back, which probably might be a little different now. Back then, it was about 1995, 1996. So I probably have to go back and get a refresher course. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Great.
Now, is there anything else you want to tell us? We have about 125,000 travel advisors who are on our database for Insider Travel Report. Is there anything else you want to tell them about the Travel Institute and your leadership of the group?
Yeah. Well, no pressure with 125,000 advisors. Congratulations on that. What I'll say is that, that is a reminder that the Travel Institute is a nonprofit organization. We were formed by the travel industry in 1964. And we like to think of it as the Travel Institute is your travel institute. We are here 100% focused on education, listening to what your challenges are, needs are, finding those education gaps to create it. And we're here to help you succeed. And so I look forward to meeting everyone. I can't wait to get out to all the trade events, and to listen and to make sure that we're aligned with helping everyone succeed going forward.
Well, Taylor, I want to thank you for taking the time. I want to
Yeah.
wish you good luck. I know
Thank you.
you're gonna do great, and I'm can't wait to meet you at one of these
Yeah, I look
travel
forward to
industry
it.
events very soon.
Fantastic. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
I'm James Schillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.